Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. I guess this is like a special report. A No Cat Space is on a post-game show, post-draft show, whatever you want to call it. Tyler and Greer here. What's good, y'all? We have a roster for the Golden State Valkyries. Look, man. They said they wanted shooters. That is what Natalie Nakase said. They got a couple shooters,
Definitely,
including Kate Martin, Money Martin. I tell you right now, easily the biggest shock to me is Temi Fagbenle not being protected. That is immediately jumping off the page. Like I can't believe that they were able to get her. But before we jump into your thoughts, Greer, I gotta tell you about the best pick that you can make this holiday season is getting your friend, your loved one, a shirt, a jacket, a hat from our friends at Home Field, where you can use code NOCAT15 and get 15% off your order at the link in the description below. Greer, general thoughts? What are the vibes? What stands out? Just let's get into it.
General vibes, very international, a big international vibe on this team. Almost, with the exception of Kayla, Mo, and Kate and Veronica Burton, I think all of the other players they took are international players.
I think so. Yes. Regardless,
yeah.
A lot. Yeah,
a lot. A big international vibe. So, okay, that makes me also wonder is like the players that they named in the very beginning. So let's say Condi, let's say Rupert, Late. Are they even coming over this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are they even coming over? And will that give Golden State even more flexibility in terms of what they can do during the actual draft and free agency?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I'll tell you right now, the two picks, I love the Kate Martin pick. I think that's just gonna be fun, to be quite honest with you. Like, if nothing else, like I'm really interested. I saw, because I had tweeted out, like, because the two picks that leaked before this, I believe it was from the Athletic, were Kate and Kayla from the Liberty, and I put a tweet out like, Kate Martin's year that she's had is like ridiculous. Like it's truly insane. And the fact that, because I said that she had established herself in Vegas. And people were like, I saw a couple of comments being like, established? What do you mean? She stayed on the roster. In the W, that's establishing yourself. If you got a paycheck coming in, that's to a certain.
Yeah, but she didn't get minutes at all. Like,
okay, so here's no, I hear you. I think I say establishing yourself in the sense of, I think there's different standards for different things.
Yeah.
I think that the bare minimum for establishing yourself in the W is being able to stay on a roster. And you did that, and you made a good enough impression to get picked to help start off an entire franchise. So her story is just incredible. But the two picks that I love the most, I think, just off immediate reaction, is Kayla Thornton and Monique Billings. Those are two players that I want on my team, on any team, period. And for them to be players that are able to kind of set the tone, to set the culture, to help really get this franchise and lay the foundation and kind of get them rolling, I love those two players in that type of role.
I thought Mo Billings, like the fact that she bounced around last year was like very weird. To me, she's always been a quality rotation big in this league who energy like consistently kind of unmatched, right? Like that's never a question for Mo Billings. Is like, is she bringing the effort and energy? So good to see that, like, Natalie and the new GM in Golden State like view her already as like a piece who can be here and is like definitely carved out a lane for themselves in the W.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. I think another pick that I love, Veronica Burton, is a player that has increasingly like just gotten a little bit better every year. I feel like, especially after graduating from Dallas Wings University. And I thought it was a little bit weird having both her and Ty with Connecticut. And so I'm not surprised to see that she went unprotected, but I think that's a phenomenal pick as well. Like, that is just another solid young rotational player. I mean, it might end up playing a larger role on this team, with depending on how free agency and everything goes. But I love that pick as well. I like the idea of, it seems like they had, I'll tell you, even in the beginning, before the draft even started, the three things that were kind of said by Natalie as like the key factors were ultra competitive, high character, and I believe it was Never Say Die mindset. It kind of got loud in there. But regardless, if you even just take it to ultra competitive and high character, there's several players that really fit that, whether it be the two players I just mentioned, whether it be a Veronica Burton. Like, there was obviously an identity that they wanted to establish here, and I feel like they did a pretty solid job. It kind of just seems like toughness and shooting. Like, those were like the two key things here. And I think either player can kind of fall under one of these, like under one of those terms pretty easily, frankly. And so if nothing else, it seems like they had an identity that they wanted to establish and they were able to do so, which frankly, as a franchise that is just starting out, I think that's the most important thing to begin with. It's just setting the standard, setting the culture. And I think they have really good pieces to do that. But I do want to talk about Temmie in particular. Obviously, we don't know who has been protected, which is ridiculous. I hate it. I can't believe we don't know this information. I can't believe none of it's leaked, frankly. Everything else leaks in the WNBA. Yeah, we can't get the protected players list, regardless. I think when we were watching the draft together, I think collectively it was easily the most shocking part of the draft was to see that Temmie was picked. I mean, I'm trying to think. So, I mean, obviously you have Caitlyn, you have Aaliyah, Kelsey. At that point, it's who?
Lexi Hall.
Lexi Hall, 100%. Yep. Lexi Hall. Like at that point, it's weird. Like, you know, you have obviously Melissa is a candidate for that. Like, but even then, like when it gets to that sixth player, there was no one that was playing enough minutes consistently that had any type of connection with Caitlyn that I'm protecting over Temmie. I don't think there is.
Listen, like, you know, you're talking about like rumors and stuff around the W. Like we would be remiss if we did not mention that who a lot of Fever fans are hoping to poach this offseason.
It has to be it. And that's Satu Sabally from the Dallas Wings, who would play the four, and would end up taking in a lot of those minutes. But even then, that's where I'm like, and obviously we don't know who they protected. And frankly, the Valkyries, I mean, we don't know. We just don't have the information to know, like, maybe they didn't protect Nalissa and decided to, they were both unprotected, and then they chose Temmie. You know, like, that's a like that is technically a possibility. I just don't see, if you know that Satu is on the way. Like, if let's play the hypothetical with that. Like, let's say, okay, Satu Sabally is on the way to Indiana. Temmie still doesn't go unprotected to me.
Like, I don't know. I also think she's on a different timeline than the rest of those players. Temmie is 32 years old. They have owned the draft. They have owned the rights to Temmie for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And while I think the year one stuff was like promising with her and Caitlyn, but like,
I still think
I'm not that broken up about it. I get it, but like,
I think it'd be worthwhile for the backup, if nothing else. Like, honestly, like as the backup big, like they don't really have a backup that can continue to run the floor with Caitlyn right now. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, I just don't think, it's not that like
Big Nano, pick up the phone. No.
I mean, hey, shoot. I mean, it's not even necessarily about. It's not even as much about Temmie as it is who were the other options.
Also, okay, can you pull up that last comment from Chris Callahan? Yes, thank you. Like,
yeah.
So DD, he's referring to Damiris Dantas, who, yes, also is coming back into the league after playing with the Minnesota Lynx for a very long time. Like, yeah, I just think that they have flexibility there. I just do. And her and Caitlyn's chemistry also. Everything that Caitlyn and Temmie did in the beginning half of the year, Damiris and Caitlyn also did in the second half of the year.
That's fair. If that was the protection, I can understand. Like, if that ended up being like the sixth one, like let's say it's the starting five and one more, I can understand. Like, I could, like, that's not hard to figure out there. Man, what else? Like, this is we're all the Lynx.
Yes, letting Chechi managing to keep both Peely and Diamond Miller.
Crazy. And Dorka. Like there was a lot of players like to us, the Minnesota Lynx were the most interesting team going into the protections. And Xander Lacini was just not the player that I expected them to frankly take. Like, I thought they were going to go get a forward from Minnesota. So I'm shocked from that, honestly.
But another player, I think she shot 42% from three last year. What does her role with Minnesota? I felt like fluctuated at different times last year. So if Nakase and company have a real plan for Chechi and real minutes for her, they got a sniper.
No, like I said, everyone can fall in a category. You're either tough as hell or you got a flamethrower on your arm. There is that is, and again, I think the biggest thing, the immediate thought is who's going to be here with just the European factor and the overseas factor, and then also it doesn't feel like they have a true center, really. I think that's the immediate. I thought the wings would be a place where they take.
Repair is a true center.
Well, that's what, so they have right. That's where I'm there is no solidified 100% true center that is going to be in a Golden State uniform this season. Yeah.
Listen, they also have the 5th pick, the 18th pick, right?
That sounds right.
And then also whatever, I don't even know what it will be in the 3rd round, right? But they're going to have 3 draft picks. And then also, I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. I think this is going to be a preferred this could be anyway, a preferred destination for a lot of free agents.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a practice facility, a dedicated practice facility. You're going to, by extension, be linked to a player like Steph Curry and the winning ways.
Tickets are selling out already. You don't got to worry about that.
You know what I'm saying? So, and unlike years past where free agents may not want to take a chance on a expansion team, I could certainly see some doing it this time around.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Man. And I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it was funny. The Seattle Storm no selection. I immediately just thought of the Chicago Sky video. They got a lot going on over there.
They do. Yeah, we knew that it was complicated.
That was the weakest.
You've got vets who cannot be included.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the news that broke about Jewel earlier this week, it was safe to assume maybe that she was one of the protected.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would she then be asking for a trade, right? So I get it, but theirs was always one of the more complicated situations in terms of who would actually be available for an expansion choice. Yeah.
Chat, let us know, who are you surprised to maybe not see picked here, or maybe that you thought maybe could have been a surprise protection or something. One here is LA from Atlanta. I don't think she would have been protected.
For what?
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I like LA.
I know what you are, Collins. I know what you are. I'm looking in the comments. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Zaya as well is another one that. This is where I'm at. I'm still just shocked that Chechi was the one from Minnesota. It certainly lines up with what Natalie said in before the draft. So not surprised in the sense of it doesn't seem like she fits. I'm just surprised that they got other shooters. I'm just, they went so heavy into shooting in that. I like this one.
Yes, pull that one up because I am. Listen, she could be one of those players where it's you need to know that she's bought into what you're doing before you do that. You know what I'm saying? But I am a little bit shocked by Deladon. But it wouldn't shock me if, when it's all said and done, she is on the Valkyries roster.
Yeah, because
she's not going back to the Mystics. So.
Yeah. Haley Jones would have been an interesting one coming back to the Bay. That would have been an interesting one. A couple of Sparks players here that are interesting. Yeah, Stephanie Town. That was one I kind of expected a little bit more of a younger player from the Sparks. They just kind of got a decent amount, and
I think Talbot's kind of, but she has a pretty big contract. I think she makes six figures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the Sparks are happy to kind of get off that contract.
let's see this. Does no one else see the Storm non-pick is because they've made a deal for Jewel Lloyd? I don't think that necessitates that. Like, I don't think that's like
no, but I mean, it's on the table.
It's certainly possible. Like, if it happened, like it would make sense. But I don't think it's like, I don't think that's exactly 100% by any means. I'll tell you right now, I'm so sorry to your agenda, Greer, but Dominique Malonga really fits exactly what the Valkyries need right now, and is another overseas player coming over and playing for this team. Like, everything about her fit at 5, like that, it's making sense. Like, I've been really on board for the Kiki drop into 5 train, and like I've seen the vision, but with this draft, it has Dominique Malonga all over it if she is on the board.
I don't know, because I think what we're learning today, if I was only listening to the expansion draft through you, but they brought up somebody like a Lauren Betts, right? Right now, like, Betts is not on everyone's mocks. Yeah. If she declares, she's a player that shakes shit up completely.
I mean, immediately at worst a top 5 pick.
But they're, like we've discussed here a couple of times, there's a couple of other players who shake shit up immediately if they put their names in the hat. And that's a Flau'jae Johnson, and that's a healthy AZ Fudd. So, like, this draft just went from being like, I don't know, maybe like having 3 potential like franchise cornerstones to like 6.
Genuinely. And that's not even getting
and that's like, if you might strike gold with the pick that you get.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's several players that like I think and there's some players like Sonya that are like they're gonna be so incredibly like safe like picks that could like the floor for them is so high and the ceiling is ridiculous. Well, we can explain this. So Flau'jae is not a senior, but to declare for the WNBA draft, you have to be 22 years old. That is the aspect here. If you're in college, like Dominique Malonga coming from Europe, doesn't have that doesn't apply. If you're in college, you have to be 22. So Lauren Betts and Flau'jae will technically be draft eligible by the end of this college season. Technically, now that's certainly not something we see often, but we did see a clip of Flau'jae ha-haing about it, and now with the Unrivaled news, I'm like, Big 4, what's going on here, man? What's going on here? Man, it's a lot. Let's just kind of just scrolling through the chat right now. Like,
pick up Brittany's. Okay,
Washington needs a point guard now. I got that one next. I can see them gunning for Pow and Miles now. Interesting. I'm trying to think. What's interesting right now is that I think the point guard depth in the draft currently, Olivia Miles is the only one that's really improved her stock. Like, not including Paige. Like, everyone else, like Georgia Amore's stock has gone down. Roy Harmon is a very niche type of point guard that I like. That certain teams, like a lot of these teams that need point guards, need spacing because they have a lot of bigs, and Roy Harmon doesn't provide that. Like,
someone's stock has gone up. Someone's stock has gone up.
Let me know.
Not traditionally viewed as a point guard, but she has had a double-double with assists this year.
Who?
Shards Faven, Shawnee's daughter. What do you mean?
Haley Van Lith is indeed an option. Is indeed an option. But yeah, like, so in that way, like for point guards, it becomes very interesting after Miles. Like, really, after pick 2, presumably at worst pick 3, more than likely. I'll pick this one up here. Big niece, Emma Miesemann.
Okay, like Miesemann is a top 10 player in the world. So I also want people to recognize that she has not played in the league for like the last 2 years, but she's been over in Europe, absolutely getting buckets, taking Belgium to the Olympics and the Euro Championships and all this stuff. So yes, like Miesemann also coming back into the W is like a different wrinkle. I think you have to be looking at a team like Connecticut.
Absolutely, immediately.
Because of who they just hired as their coach. Also, yes, a city like San Francisco. Like, very, very interesting things are afoot.
Yeah, I do want to correct it. 22 by the end of the year of the draft, not by draft night. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, there's so, I mean, ultimately, like, this is the Kickstarter. This is kind of what we've all been waiting for. Like, obviously, the draft lottery happens. So, draft lottery happens. And now when it comes to player movement, like, this is now we're go. Like free agency is on deck shortly.
And then that's the other thing about free agency is because the CBA negotiations are coming up. Basically, everybody who's not on a rookie deal will be a free agent again. After
everyone's signing a 1-year deal.
Just in general, like, don't get too attached to anybody who's on your team right now.
And I'll tell you right now, an interesting pick to me personally is the idea of Nneka to Golden State. You go home, so you can do a 1-year deal just like you did in Seattle, with everything that's going down in Seattle. Now, obviously, we don't know the specific. We don't know where Nneka's relationship really is with the Storm. But obviously played at Stanford. Like, they need to send I think like just as a 1-year deal, you know you're gonna have super high end facilities. Like I'm intrigued by that idea. Now, like you said, it very easily could just be a re-sign with the Storm for another 1 year and wrapped it up simple. But with everything going on, I think it's fair to throw something like that out there where it's like it's a city she's familiar with. I can see the vision. Let's see. I'm just looking. Awak is also a snub, to be honest. She's doing great in Europe. I think that's another. Like I said, I'm just shocked that the wings is not a big, whoever it was, whether it be a Kalani, whether it be a Awak. Like I'm pretty shocked that it wasn't a big from Dallas. Like, especially with a lot of the other picks that they had. Like I'm pretty shocked. Nneka also loves that coach though. Nneka loves Noel Quinn, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I think. I would be shocked. I'm expecting to see her back in Seattle. But with everything going on, I don't think it's outrageous to throw something out there like that. Maybe Dallas protected every single one of their bigs. It's possible.
That would be very Dallas Wings.
It would be incredible. It was just like Arike and the bigs. Like that's very possible, honestly. But again, like I just like that's like as I'm digesting this more and more, like that is what's standing out to me is that the Dallas pick is not a big one way or another. Like you got Stephanie Suarez, you got Watt, you got Kalani Brown, you got McCowan. Like there's just a lot of redundancy there. And we've talked about the Dallas Wings roster makeup plenty, but the fact that Golden State doesn't end up with one of them, it doesn't have, like I said, like obviously, Rupert is their lone center at best, and to not end up with one of those is very interesting to me. Man. Also, while y'all keep getting your takes off in the chat, while that kind of refreshes a little bit, can we talk about the jerseys?
It's really just in general, expansion teams this week went over on like announcements, whether it was jersey, team names, logos.
Bad.
Yeah. Now let's go back to the drawing board on that.
Bad.
Looking forward to the rebrand.
It looks already like when all the W jerseys were the same, they just had the logo in the middle. That's what the Valkyries jersey looks like. It looks like we went backwards, bro. I hate it. And the little like preview that they had, I know we were talking about it. It looks so good. Like the colorway looked cool and everything, and then it's just like then the numbers just like to the side. I hate it. I ain't gonna lie. Like I don't like it. Let me know, look, if y'all are the Valkyries right now, realistically, who are y'all looking at 5? I see here we got Malanga. Like I'm interested in who y'all think might end up being there. I think I really am interested in seeing if Kiki Iriafen ends up being a player that drops there, just because not because of her talent, but because of the team needs that are around those other teams like the Sparks. That's not a need for them by any means. They certainly could just go best player available, and Kiki can certainly tick that box, but I could see her dropping. I could see her dropping. Dom, no question. Joe wants chaos with Flauge. Sedona, no. No. Yeah, man, this is. I can't wait for Kate Money Martin though. I ain't gonna lie. See about the. I need to see the jersey sales because those jerseys were going crazy already, and like now that she like. I assume she's going to end up as the face of the franchise, quote unquote, at least until further notice. Like,
well, I think the person that gets drafted.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm like. That's what I'm like until further notice. Like up until that point, I promise you, it's going to be the Kate Martin jerseys that are going on sale, and they're using that in the graphic. Like, I promise you that. Malonga, another vote. Let's see. Anissa or Azy. Anissa has been inconsistent to start the season. I think her draft stock has definitely suffered from that. Janiyah Barker is an interesting one. I just don't think I'm taking Barker over Malonga or Kiki if either of them are there. That's just where I'm at with it. Kiki or Malonga. I think I seems like we're pretty set on Kiki or Malonga, which I think is correct, frankly. PG, they probably have to. Probably Amor. I was on the post game last night talking about Kentucky, North Carolina, and right now the splits aren't splitting when it comes to shooting percentages. And they have Van Loo. That's not a bad point guard.
Also like 30 something.
Yeah, I know. It's old rookies, man. They confuse me sometimes. But yes, man, this is crazy. Like, I mean, I'm just so happy.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, they're just in a really cool position.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to make the choice, but they are in.
I'll be here to talk about it though, and if it's bad, I'll boo you. So, but if not, I'll cheer you. No, it really is like this is such a fun time. Like next year's gonna be ridiculous with two teams. Like this is fun. Like
next year is giving me headaches. I don't even
want to get there yet, frankly. Good Lord, there's a long way to go until then, but. I'll tell you right now, this roster is poised for a big at number 5. Whether that be Kiki, Malonga, Lauren Betts, potentially. They certainly wouldn't pass on Flau'jae if Flau'jae ends up being there. They're not passing on her. But this is a team that is poised to take a big at number 5. Like, no doubt in my mind, realistically. So, yeah. I mean, right now there's
for one. There's going to be some on the free agent market as well. So,
yeah.
Again, like they have a bevy of options, I think. And I think they're going to be like, yeah. And then it also depends on like what the goals are, right? Expansion teams typically do not compete for a playoff berth in their first years. So we heard like Natalie say like what the attributes of a player that they're looking for to play for the Valkyrie are, but she didn't really get into like what is their goal this season.
I'll tell you the one goal that we do know is that the owner of the Valkyries said 5 years they're going to be champions of the WNBA. That is the only timetable we really have for like projected success in what they want in Golden State. How realistic that is, that's another conversation. And and that's why. I mean, I think there is like a genuine pressure on whoever is picked at number 5. Like, I think that outside of presumably Paige going number 1, sorry, here, I think that number 5 pick probably is under the most pressure. You are leading a new franchise. You are expected to be, essentially the player for this franchise off rip. And I don't
know about that. Because, like, I will say in the W, it is cool that, like, I say, like, years 3 or 4, you pretty much know, like, where what the trajectory of the superstar that you've drafted, like, where it's going. So they've got to nail it. But if they don't, I don't think that there's all that pressure on the 5th pick either.
See, I think where I'm going with it is that uniquely in the W, like obviously we know how rookies are in the W. Like this is really the first year that we've seen rookies pop out like this in mass like this. And I think that this is just another instance that is still new to the W where a rookie is going to have a lot of responsibility from day one. Obviously, you're not expected to go and win games per se, like in that way. So I don't necessarily mean it in that as much as like most times rookies, we just don't. You don't see that responsibility in the W. And this is with every expansion team, we're going to see this.
Yeah, too. Like when you think about rookies who have been successful or like young players who have been successful earlier in their careers, they're not going to a team that like has no infrastructure to support them. So even when I think about like a Stewie and Jewel, they were going to the Seattle Storm, right? When I think about a Nafisa Collier, she was going to the Minnesota Lynx.
A dynasty,
You know what I'm saying? So even though she was drafted 6th, like she fell into the laps of the Minnesota Lynx. You know what I'm saying? Even going back further, like the team around them isn't just Cheeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
fair.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you. First off, Magnolia, Grace, thank you. We did hit 2K subs today. Or I guess yesterday or whenever. I don't know when it was. Regardless, thank you.
Yes.
It was this week. It's a big milestone. So we appreciate you all. Man. Mystic
Yeah.
This is a great point.
Yeah. Obviously they got Aaliyah Edwards last year and she was outstanding for them in the time that she did play for them. They have a couple other veteran pieces and like Ariel Atkins and Brittany Sykes, and do they fit the timeline right now? TBD. And so they also still do not have a coach, right?
Correct.
So scary situation, truthfully.
Yeah.
if you're a player that's getting chosen 4th by them this year, that's tough. But it does seem like their clock could be restarted. So you might look at like an Ariel Atkins, Brittany Sykes, like who knows where they could be.
I completely agree. I mean, I think that because they have both 4 and 6, so I can see them drafting
packaging that deal.
Yeah, or doing something great. Like I think. Oh, you know what? That's actually interesting. If there's a way, like packaging 2 picks and maybe one of those older players, if they want to try and move up potentially.
Packaging 1. Like if we're saying this draft is as deep at the top as like it has the potential.
You take a page in Washington?
Hell yeah.
Over that. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I was just lobbing up the question. I don't disagree, but that's intriguing. I hadn't really.
Hey, listen, the page, the PBAE reunion. Yes, who don't? But and then I mean, like, if we're saying like, Flau'jae Lauren could also be in here.
Yeah, and that's what's like genuinely this draft. Because if like let's say the hypothetical that they both come out, you're not looking at 6 franchise changing players potentially. Like obviously you're all obviously just projecting all these things, but like at worst you're looking at 4 or 5 like genuinely like are like even if it's just from an attention a motion perspective of like a Flau'jae, you know what I mean? Like I think Flau'jae's gonna be a great WNBA player, but even like just the excitement that you bring to your franchise, like at this point, I think that is a massive factor to what teams are drafting. Absolutely. And so if a player like that comes out or a player like Lauren Betts comes out, you're not looking at pick number 4 not being incredibly different than like a pick number 2. Like obviously pick number 1 is different, but
I don't even know. I'm not even so sure this year. I swear. And you know me, like I'm not even sure. Dominic, she's 19 and she's 6'6" and she's dunking and running. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure. I'm not. And as much as I have said like Paige is a front runner for MPO, like I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean everything that we've seen, and I know Andrew has talked with French sources and everything. We international with it. Everything about Dominique Malonga screams franchise player. Everything. Like and screams like instant impact as well. Like not even just like you don't really have to wait that like I'm sure there'll be growing pains, but like man, I'm not with you. This one right here, this
yeah.
Like
if she's from what some of the things that we're hearing is like her comp is Jonquel Jones, but better.
That's an MVP, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And a finals MVP.
That's a fantastic player.
A guard has not won MVP in this league in a minute.
This is also a cool aspect of it. If the global presence of the league, bro. If Dominique Malonga comes in here and starts going stupid, like that, we genuinely, I genuinely, and I don't think this is an exaggeration. If she comes in dunking and cooking, I really think that we're looking a boom, potentially even on larger terms than what we had seen this year. Like, because you're gonna get the American audience as well tuning into that, but the European side as well would be crazy. But there's, I mean, realistically, we're leaving here with more. We have answers, but now we got 10 more questions, and that's what's phenomenal about the off season right now. And that's what's phenomenal about being a year-round sport. You beat me to it. It's a year-round sport. Oh man, what a time! What a time to be a women's basketball fan, y'all. This is electric. Thank y'all for tapping in with us here. It was a little special edition. Be tapped in because do we want to tell them the interview we did today, or we want to save that?
We'll save it.
We'll save it. We'll stay tuned. Little eye emojis that we got coming your way.
We'll save it. It's fine.
Okay, we can save it. I do. Hey, real quick before we go, is Malonga the female comparison to Wnba? Andrew spoke with a French coach very familiar with Dominique Malonga and said that that she is not the male Wnba. Wnba is it's the reverse. It's the reverse. That they need to be comparing Wnba to Dominique. If that tells me all I need to know. That tells me all I need to know. But y'all, thank you so much for tapping in. A little special edition live here today from No Cap Space. I will have boots on the ground this weekend. South Carolina, TCU. I got you with both post-game press conferences and a post-game show from Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. We're making the drive. Boots, stay on the ground here at No Cap Space. Like I said, we'll have you with another Ball Up Top, our weekly podcast that you can find on video segments throughout the week here. But if you want to listen in full immediately on Tuesday morning, you can find that at nocapspacewbb.com and all of your favorite podcast platforms. 5 out on Monday, I think. And then we got some special stuff coming late next week. So subscribe here, hit the bell, like, comment, go subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers on our website at nocapspacewbb.com. Go get your home field merch. NoCap15 is the code, 15% off. All the links that you need are in the description below, and we will see y'all next time.